Hey everybody, Rose Matter here, and welcome to my new Let's Play series. And this is probably one of the Let's Plays I've been most excited to do. It is a game I've literally been waiting for years to play. 6 years to be exact, because it came out in Japan in 2015, and I have just been waiting for Capcom to localize it. And it's finally happened, so today we are going to be starting the great Ace Attorney Chronicles. The Ace Attorney series is one of my favorites of all time. I love them so much. To be able to play a new game, to finally be able to play a Ace Attorney game on the channel is just like a dream come true. I am so excited. I hope you guys are too. So this takes place back in the Meiji era with, I guess, like Phoenix Wright's ancestor? I don't know. I haven't been looking up too much information about it because I want to try and go in as blind as possible, but I am just so jazzed to be able to play this. I hope you guys are excited. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's jump into the great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
Oh. All right, there he is.
One man. The turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
I don't even know this guy's name. I just know it's not Phoenix. Alright, the adventure of the great departure. I do miss the fact it's not called Turnabouts, you know, blank, but it's something new, so... Oh my gosh. Oh, I love being able to hear all these sound effects again. Alright, the Supreme Court of Jurisdiction, Defendant's Antechamber 5. It's very weird to play this on a PC. This is strange. This is so strange. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. Oh, there's going to be a lot of voiceovers for this. So it's just like with the opening thing, I was like, well, maybe they're going to have voices in this. No. That would be too much to expect. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan waiting to decide my fate? Alright, bailiff, what? Oh, no, nothing. Savior glares. Murderer. Sorry. Okay. Ryunosuke? Oh boy, I like Phoenix Wright. So much easier to pronounce. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo, and I'm sure you guys can correct me if that is incorrect. Can I just call him Ryu for shorts? I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough. Oh, he's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Tisk. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. Well, that's something that you want to hear from your lawyer. Oh boy, and yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. But he wears a cool headband that flaps in the wind even though there's no, like, wind anywhere. So I choose to trust him. Right? Ryu? Oh my god. Can I just say Ryu? I'm just gonna call him Ryu for a little while until I get the name down. Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. It's definitely giving me, like, the vibes of, like, Phoenix and Mai when he was being tried for the murder of that guy. And then maybe he'll be, like, inspired to become a lawyer, too? What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. Is he like his classmate or something? There you go again, apologizing. Is Ryu like half Canadian? What's going on here? Just like always. Ah. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryu. Kazuma Asugai, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. Oh, it's given like Phoenix and... oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? Miles! Miles Edgeworth, yes, that's his name. Derp, I just had a brain fart there. But he's far more clever than I, a star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate, because that's always the case with these Japanese games. It's all like high school or like university students that are just like amazing at everything and they can do stuff that they shouldn't be able to do yet. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much, yet you said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know, I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud as your friend. Because that's how real people talk. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. Ooh, does he have like secret special powers? Maybe like Maya? And Mai? Maybe he's got some sort of like supernatural abilities. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Why do I have a feeling his friend's gonna die or something? And then maybe he becomes a lawyer or tries to be a lawyer to like avenge him or something. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? Oh! I know that girl's gonna be part of this. She's in all of the advertising, so... Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me, but never mind that for now. Asogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. So this is interesting because they did say that lawyers, the idea of lawyers in, I guess, Japan is still a pretty new concept. So it's like it's going to kind of show maybe the birth of law and everything in this age. And I imagine that there'll be some confusion about things. We'll be throwing things out there that maybe people have never seen before. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll try and say his real name. His full name. Give him some respect. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes. Thanks, Kazuma. Ugh, this is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. It's like I play a lot of Japanese games on this channel. The names are still going to trip me up, so I apologize in advance. Like Phoenix Wright, the names are so easy. Maya, Phoenix, Miles. It's just like these. It's just like, man, I'm tripping over my tongue to say these. Oh, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial... Oh, he's gonna get that revoked? I'm afraid that permission will be revoked. And never granted again. Oof, no pressure. What? But all the more reason that he should fight for me even more, and also because I'm his best friend and he doesn't want to see me charged with murder. As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I wonder if he knows. Maybe Kazuma didn't want to tell Ryu about it because he didn't want to make him worry and like feel guilty for taking his case. Okay, so he did know. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. Why is he telling... This guy is immediately sus. I'm like, okay, why is he telling me this? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. So this will probably be like a whole new thing. See, the thing is, if I'm the defendant... Unless I'm taking control of Kazuma, like, this should be interesting. How is this going to work? But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so... As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not, do you accept the accusations brought before you? What is this guy's deal? Of course not. It's like he's trying to trick me. It's like I just yell it out, and then I just, like, basically confirm that I did. Like, why is this guy having this conversation with me? Why do I feel like he's trying to trip me up and mess me up? Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It would seem our oh my gosh. Surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Okay, so he's trying, like, I'm guessing he's like his teacher and he's like, that's my star student. I don't want him to be dragged down because of you. Of course, as a defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? I wonder if I'm going to take over and be like, I'm going to be my own lawyer to try and save my friend. Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. Oh, shit. So that's the thing. Is Ryu also going to school for, is he going to school for law? Or is he just in a different class and he just happens to be going to the same school as Kazuma? Because if he is going for law, maybe he has some knowledge and he could defend himself. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. Oh, it's so good. I'm so glad we're being thrown right into the trial again. That's usually how it goes with these games. It's like you're kind of just thrown into the trial, but I'm just still happy that it's just like, all right, we're not going to fluff about. Here we go. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. It always takes place in November, too, doesn't it? The first trial? I don't know if it takes... I can't remember if it takes place always the same day, but usually it's always in November. I can understand why he looks so petrified, just his eyes just bugging the fuck out. So this is a courtroom. The Supreme Court of Judicature. Oh, sorry guys. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. Yeah, that's not sus at all. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now... You need to concentrate. Ryunosuke, it's about to begin. I love it. Oh, he definitely looks a lot cooler than the normal judge, but I love that the the prosecuting lawyer looks just like... I can't remember the guy's name, the one who always, like, his toupee always flies off. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Achi. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there's one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? Oh, that's the whole thing. I do, right? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do, so he literally is like, I'm defending myself. Like, I'm just, that professor doesn't give a fuck about me. Throwing me to the wolves. If I say I do, I need to answer quickly. What should I do? I'll just say I do. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I just love his eyes are still just going. Yes! Oh. Oh, I like him already. He's definitely given off that nervous, like, first-year Phoenix energy. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't said anything. Oh, my... Kazuma's not going to be mad at me. What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything, just now, before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. That's true friends right there, man. Kazuma sticking up for his friend, knowing that it could mean that he loses his dreams, and then Ryu just being like, no, I'm gonna... Even if I am not qualified for it, I'm gonna defend myself if it means that my friends, you know, won't have his dreams shattered. Even if it means he's literally gonna go to prison for the rest of his life. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. Aw, you think I won't be able to get you off? No, it's not that, really. It's just that it kind of does sound like that. Well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes, I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel. Really? Objection! Yes, he got the objection. Make no mistake, counsel. Of course we'd have the objection, but... This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Hmm? Oh, Yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all, can you tell? In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of the Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does that mean? Oh, that's not a good start if he doesn't understand that. He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So let's start with the very simplest of questions. Oh, yes. I guess this will be like the tutorial. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But, wait. Oh no, is he drawing a blank? Oh God, I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. Well, it's okay. I forgot Miles' name, so... Man, if I were in the situation, I would probably be doing the same thing. What was it again? And this is what I'm gonna have to look into, like, my my notes to see. Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with the press of E. Alright. You ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. Oh, and he's even got the collar pin where it's like with Phoenix, it was like, this is my lawyer's badge to show that I'm a lawyer. I always wear it on the collar of my uniform jacket. Alright, this is the list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with E. There we go. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press Z to go back. Alright. John H. Wilson. The victim of this case, he was a visiting professor of medicine at Yume University from the British Empire. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press R to present. Try it now. Okay.
Yes!
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of the esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. So it's like basically, you know, it's like the Mind Phoenix thing where it's like, he's my helper, he's kind of helping me along to do this. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally, and as most of you will be aware, we've just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. And that's why everybody is so hell-bent on getting a conviction, and why this, I'm guessing this is like a secret court. Maybe the court's gonna try and play dirty to make sure, like, to appease the Empire that they get a guilty conviction. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? Ugh, but I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual why can't I say that word? Peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime with a gun in your hand. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still. I should go and say hello. Oh, poor Ryu, he's just trying to, like, be polite and then this all happened. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death. Well, obviously, that was, Ryunosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now. Alright. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body.
Yes!
Well... According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Oh my gosh, I feel like Achi is speaking to me. I know how to say that word. I was doing it for effect, but yeah, there's definitely some words I have trouble with. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the Postmortem Report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The Postmortem Reports. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. So in the original Phoenix Wright games, right? Like, they're talking about how they want this to be a speedy trial, except it's always that way, and from what I know of, like, the Japanese court system, they have like a 99% like conviction rate, and apparently they're quite. I don't think they're as quick as in Phoenix Wright, where it's like over the course of a couple of days, but they're pretty quick trials, and it's just like assumed that the defendant, like, if they're going on trial, that they're going to be found guilty. And I think the whole thing about this game was kind of like a series, I should say, was a. It was like a criticism, I think, of like the Japanese court system. I might be mistaken on that, but this is, yeah, pretty messed up. And I'm assuming that's not the case like in modern times. I'm pretty sure they would still do autopsies, I would hope, and not just like a police officer comes and just assumes the cause of death. That's kind of scary. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume the victim was shot at close range. Oh, the fact it's in black and white, that's going to cause some issues, I feel like, because things could be misinterpreted if they're not in color. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. It is kind of fun to go back and like these, being introduced like to them, it's all new stuff. Very well, I'm satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better appraise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. Ugh. This is it then. Yes. Yay. He's nervous. I'm excited to get back into this again. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Yay, I have an assistant. I don't think he's going to be my assistant for long. I hope so, but I don't know. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay, so maybe he is on my side after all, and that's why he said the thing about, like, say that you're going to be your defense lawyer, but he knew that Kazuma wasn't just going to be like, all right, good luck, and then just peace out. He was still going to be able to, so it's like, he'll still be able to help me and hopefully, you know, win my case, but he's not at risk of having his, you know, ability to go to England revoked if he fails. Okay, so maybe I misjudged him a little bit, but maybe. But any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. God, I miss this series. I miss it so much. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called La Carnival. Ahem, ahem. Oh. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Okay, that's gotta come into play. Come on. Well, it really, really should. As everyone knows, the capital... Also, I would not want a waiter who coughs up blood. Just saying. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants in Occidental Eatery 3 days ago. Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, aspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. Ahem, ahem. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
I mean, it does look pretty bad from his point of view. Hold on, just let me clarify something here. Well, I did pick up a gun I had found lying on the floor beside the professor. I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryunosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. Ugh. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today. Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table? What's the matter, Ryunosuke? That's just not right. Oh, okay. There was someone with him when I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello. Ah, there was a woman sitting opposite him at the table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? I don't want to be penalized. Although, I mean, if it's just a small, you know, penalty like in the other games, I don't think it's going to be too bad. Because this is pretty big thing I should interject about. I'm going to interject.
Yes!
Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. It's like he's in cahoots or something. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Maybe he was in cahoots with that woman, and he was gonna, like, I'll be the witness to it. Maybe she killed him, and then he was just like, I don't know. Please have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. A sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume. That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. This is the tough thing about this being back in like the late 1800s, early 1900s is there's no security cameras or anything that we don't have that luxury, so it's just we just have to go based on hearsay. Yes, he's so conscientious that he he coughs up blood apparently. It's like, yeah, you wipe it off, but I'm like, I still don't want someone coughing up blood near my food. I'm just saying. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh. Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Oh, shit. Okay, what's up here? Oh, of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. Okay, so maybe there was a plan to, like, kill that guy, and maybe he has something on the business card to show that it was pre-planned. So the court has now heard a precis of the case. Yes, at the moment, the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. The only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Yeah, black and white like that photograph, which is not going to help us out. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment, or reprieve. I call this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. But they said there weren't even that many people there. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these there's that word I can't say, peculiarities. You've said it, Professor Mikutaba said it, and so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. I'm just, every time, like, when I'm seeing that thing wave his headband, I'm just imagining there's someone just off screen who's got, like, a little fan, just to make him look real cool. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Yeah, they said that there's all these witnesses, but there weren't even that many people in the restaurant. How many witnesses could they possibly have? Indeed. Maybe they'll bring, like, the police officer that came to check the body. Prosecutor Achi, please continue with proceedings. Tisk. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. Ugh. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses. All right, very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Ayasa Nosa reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employed as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the Oh, I don't like the way this guy talks. Efflorescence of our nation, Nippon. And conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the Secting District. Curio Korakuda at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curious with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to him. Oh, he's lawyer and interpreter. He obviously targets the Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It's like a Japanese version of J. Jonah Jameson. I was trying to figure out, like, what does this guy remind me of? It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearms, sir. This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. It almost sounded like a baby. I thought I was like, am I going crazy? So this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by to report, sir. Yeah, sounds like a baby. Oh, he does! That thing, that's probably a baby on his back. It's like one of those, he totally has a baby on his back, doesn't he? Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. Acerbic? Oh, God. It's like the swaddle thing, right? But he's got it on his back. Like, let me see the baby. I want to see the baby. What the witnesses saw. Maybe he was distracted by the baby, so he didn't see the precise moment. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. Okay, so I gotta I have to press both of them. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Wait, No, he fired from the front. Right? Yeah, it was from the front in the picture. Okay, so I can press that. I was on my hands and knees, investigating the whereabouts of my mysterious, absconded precious curio. Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. What times we live in, when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. So he didn't hear a gunshot? I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up... Oh, then he heard the gunshot. Bang! Yeah, that was totally pre-planned to... But how could the person have known that he was going to react exactly like that? Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in the baby did it. The baby shot him. It's like, who shot Mr. Burns? That's what happened. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this... I just love he just raised his hand like he's a student in class. Adorable. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? I mean, the defense demands its right to a cross-examination. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? I mean, it's pretty obvious. The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma is so commanding. So, like, I thought the whole thing that the Ryunosuke guy, like, he might be related to Phoenix Wright, but this guy, he's got the thing down pat with the objection, and it's like, I wonder if this guy somehow, like, Phoenix got it from him. Is this just like a latent thing? Is like, as soon as you become a lawyer, like, that's just something you do, apparently. I'm guessing something's gonna happen to Kazuma, and he's gonna take over, and then he's gonna start doing the objection thing and pointing like Kazuma in honor of his friend. That's my guess. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. I'm gonna guess that one of the trials is going to be the murder of not Ryunosuke, of Kazuma, and I don't know. That's just my guess that Kazuma will die at some point, and I hope that's not the case, but let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it, and the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. I already know what I have to press. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. Alright then. It's all or nothing. Alright. Okay, so I can press or present. I already know exactly what I have to do, though. I'm afraid if I press too much, I'm gonna get punished for it. Alright, let me press this. So that's with Q.
Yes.
So, you're saying that you actually saw me at that time? Affirmative. I saw you, laughing, cackling like a madman as you trained the barrel of your gun on the English civilian. Hey, don't get... That's impossible. I only... Allow me to confirm just one point, please. What's that, Private? Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table. And so what if it was? Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't in fact see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun. Arg. And double arg. My sixth sense. Sorry? My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means... A split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, Cadet. Surely that's not really possible, is it? Do you think I'd have got to where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son? Can I press about if there is a baby on your back, please? Well... It would seem that the soldier is absolutely convinced he saw you do the deed. This is not good. Okay, here it is. So let's press that first, and then I'll present the picture. So this black uniformed university cadet, you're saying that was... Arg, I've had just about enough of your sauce, Cadet. Who else do you see around here in black uniform, huh? Well, there's someone standing right next to me who fits the description as well, but... It was you, you little weasel. You unloaded the firearm on that man. From behind his back, you call yourself a citizen of the great empire of Nippon? You disgust me. What is it, Ryunosuke? I'm not quite sure. It's something that the sergeant just said, but I can't put my finger on it. I know exactly what it is. Something's playing on my mind. In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you've gathered in the court record. And if you find an inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. Present the evidence to the court, thrust it in the witness's face, and make him choke on it. Alright, I guess I'm just gonna have to skip over it, go back to the beginning, do it again. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know. Alright, so here we go. Present. And present.
Yes.
Okay, you gotta stop raising your hand, dude. You gotta start pointing like Kazuma. It's much more authoritative. What? What are you playing at, Cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting some photographic print in my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. Tisk, what nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us we don't already know? Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. Arg, this is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. And he's doing the little tap thing like Miles does. Ah! He's just like a combination of, like, all of the best ones. Kazuma, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at this photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Ayasanosa. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, sir, cadet? Because... Oh, just say it. Because... Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. And it said it didn't pass through his body, too, right? Ah. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? Oh, there's the baby! Baby's like, I did it! I killed... What the... What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Like, is everybody in the courtroom just going to ignore the fact that he's got a baby? I guess so. I guess it's not really that important. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were distracted, firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Ayasanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. Ugh, that's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Oh, throwing it back in his face. Oh, I want to see that toupee come off his head. There's been a complete turnabout, yes, the turnabout in the mood of this trial just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor, just pushing the baby down. Too busy on the floor. Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Treasure? Indeed. The Ho-era koban, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Rasute, in the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I preferred my Hoei treasure. Believed that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was no more. It simply vanished. The koban vanished? Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoei treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoei koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. The baby took it! I'm gonna blame everything on the baby, as I'm sure everyone present is aware. This case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Achi? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gates, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witness has further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Why am I tripping over my tongue so much this Let's Play? What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Ugh. I think he's just mad that he thought it was going to be so easy and we're making it difficult for him. Very well, the court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as curical glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name? Ido. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido. Tension! Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. Time to watch your father fail, more like. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself, so there's this mysterious woman that Ryu's probably going to feel like he's going crazy. Like, am I the only one who saw this woman? Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. These testimonies are certainly compelling. Oh, okay. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. Ugh. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, Counsel? It does look sus because there is no, like, table settings on the other side of the table. So, yeah, it doesn't really look like there was anyone there. So I do look kind of crazy. Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there's only one place at... Although, if the waiter was in cahoots, he could have cleared the table to make it look like he was the only one there. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude the victim was not in the company of anyone else. Ugh, this doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we've just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Oh my gosh. Taketsuchi Achi would have contributed to the oh my gosh, guys, I'm sorry. To the amity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick. Understood? Tisk. Rules can be so unbending at times. Ugh. Alright, the true culprit. Okay, I'm gonna press that about being the only people in the restaurant. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there. As you have been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. Arg. If only there had been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. A quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Hota Clinic. Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really had no bearing on the case. I'm wondering if maybe after the appointment it said, like, because it said he was eating a steak and drinking carbonated water. I'm wondering if it said, like, do not eat after your appointment, or, like, don't eat, like, heavy meals or things like that. I gotta take a look at this thing. It's hard to see how it could be related, really. Okay, I gotta check out this report. And then maybe that's where the woman was sitting, was with the steak and the drink, and they just moved, I don't know, they moved it over to make it look like he was the one eating and drinking? Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Yes, absolutely. I want to take a look at this thing.
Yes!
If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. See, Ryo, you just gotta be more forceful. Very well, the court will grant the defense's request. But that's what I love about the series. It was like watching Phoenix Wright, where it's like he was so bumbling and unsure of himself, and then he just became so confident by the end. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report to the court record. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korokuta-san. Okay, I just want to see. Okay, let me see the damn medical record report. Can I... Oh, am I not able to look into it? Oh, I can't. Okay. Bummer. Okay, I'm just gonna press everything. You just get to a point where you just press everything, because if I hadn't pressed that thing before, I wouldn't have gotten that medical record. So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? Whoops, sorry. The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone. Oh, that I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beefsteak on the victim's table, a meal for one. So the whole thing about the steak, I'm guessing whatever that medical report says, he couldn't eat like a heavy meal, or maybe like even like couldn't have red meat or something after his appointments. No. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Alright, let's press this as well. Why aren't you telling the truth? Okay, that's not really much of a press. What did you say, cadets? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Although it didn't look like there was food over on her side of the table, so maybe I'm wrong about that. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said the victim was alone. That's right. So I'm wondering the reason that waiter is coughing up blood. He says that happens to him all the time, but I wonder if something happened where maybe, like, he got into an altercation or something, and, like... Or maybe... I was just like, maybe he swallowed the coin and it punctured something in his body, and he's just like, so he's coughing up blood. I was thinking, like, maybe he got into an altercation and, like, something got punctured inside and he's, like, he's leaking blood, or he's coughing up blood. I'm just, okay. I want to know what's going on with that waiter and why he's bleeding from the mouth. That's gotta do, it has to have something to do with this. Precisely, in other words. You are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Alright. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Okay, can I go into the court record right now? Why can't I, like, see it more? With these ones, you can look... I'm guessing you can... Yeah, you can examine it. Oh, I can... Oh, wow, okay. Interesting. I mean, nothing's really coming up that I can see, but... I really wish I could check out this medical report. And then this one I can examine as well. Oh, there was right. There was something here he didn't want me to see. He was very nervous about this. I'm guessing there's something he's left some sort of proof on here about something, because he did not want to give that to the court. But for now, I can't quite see what it is, but that's gonna come to light. That has to. Okay, so there's the stake. So it was on his side. Man, I guess I was kind of off about that then. Alright, I can't see it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical... Yes, thank you! Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it. Yes, thank you! In a little more detail. How exactly? It's funny, I got ahead of the game where it's like I've already used the magnifying glass. Alright, you'll notice some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press space. Okay, I know how to do it. I literally just did it, so... Oh, and I can flip it as well. Okay, that I didn't know. To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using the... yeah, those... okay. Okay, thank you, Kazuma. Thank you, Kazuma. Let me just, please, let me check it. The crosshairs start to pulsate. Press space to investigate further. Okay. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use... okay. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. Okay, and then... oh, okay. So let's examine that. It looks like this medical report card was first issued quite some time ago. It's probably a record of long-term treatment, that's why. With a family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine. Going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point. Spoken like a true, like, college student being like, I'm invincible. So you don't like doctors, then? Why would you? They make you drink horrible-tasting medicine. They give you painful injections. Then again, this is like the early 1900s. I imagine that medical treatment probably was not very pleasant back then, so never mind. And then they demand lots of money from you for the privilege, all when you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient, with a bad case of stubbornness, no less, for which the only cure is very bitter medicine indeed. Okay, medical report required for every visit. Okay, so check this out. It says Hota Clinic on this medical report card. I hate clinics, almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I've ever had in my life. And I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. Ugh, I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. Most people would give their right arm to have had only one cold in their whole... exactly. Oh, maybe he is invincible after all. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. Oh, alright, there we go. So let's see what he was actually there for. This is the important thing. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and there's an entry for the date the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with... oh, shit! Molar with topical anesthesia. So yes, I'm literally going to the dentist today. So, like, this is going to be happening to me, too. So he won't be able to eat or drink. He won't be able to eat or drink for at least an hour afterwards, right? Heck yes. I was right. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Oh, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. Wow, how times have changed for me. It's like it's only an hour you have to wait. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. Exactly. Why we go to a restaurant if he had just had a tooth taken out? With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. Hell yeah. Oh, it always feels good to get one over. Alright, here we go. I hope you stop doing that soon, my dude. Well, I think, about what are you wittering, lad? I wish I could, but first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. I do it all the time, as you guys can tell. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposely, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. I mean, you do kind of have to choose your words carefully when you're in a court of law, but alright, thanks for the advice. What if he starts pointing like Kazuma's like, hey, don't do that, that's my thing. Korakuta-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. Ugh, but that's, remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could possibly have perpetrated. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? Yes, there we go. That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hota Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you the victim had just had a tooth extracted. What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. There we go. Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't. Korakuta-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more? You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. That's right, you throw it right back at them. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Oh, the idea of trying to eat a steak while having one of my teeth removed just sounds like a nightmare. Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What is this nonsense? You little upstart. He's like, this feels good. I kind of want to be a lawyer now. These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Turnabout tables. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Yes, most definitely. So having just undergone dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel. Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Oh, you were cool for like 2 seconds, dude. Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of your turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been... me! An as yet unknown third party. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
Objection!
You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
Yes!
There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. Ugh. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial relentlessly. Kazuma? Are you insane? You take on the government? Don't worry, Counsel. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them, those two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence the victim was not alone. So if it now... I mean, obviously, it's like Kazuma said, the guy with the baby there doesn't have a lot of money if he's got to bring his own baby with him while he gets, you know, dragged to court. So maybe he did this for money, where it's just like maybe the woman was like, if you give false testimony, I'll reimburse you or something. I don't know. So if it now turns out the two of you deliberately lied while giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit? In murder? No! Bring that waiter back. I want to talk to him some more. Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. Oh shit, well dude. I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Oh shit, you guys are terrible. Oh. What? What did you just say, Korokuta-san? No. You were just following orders? Now hold on, lad. I was, Say you never saw the gentlewoman? Ugh. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean... you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order, counsel, explain what's going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as conspirators to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. That can't be happening. Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Achi has any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there was only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? Maybe the waiter was like an undercover government agent or something. If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly? Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh, yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it's proven these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait. Your Excellency. I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing. What does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency. Oh, no time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes into my head. It was me! Oh, sorry, I panicked. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I wonder if it's the professor. I was thinking maybe it was the waiter. Oh, alright. I'm gonna go with it. I'm guessing it's the professor.
Yes!
There. What do you make of that? I think, counsel, that you may want to close your ears as well as your eyes, damn it. That wasn't it. Otherwise, the size of disappointment in the courtroom may very well deafen you. Whoops. I thought I was onto something. They were talking about someone with a lot of influence. Okay. I was pretty sure it was the waiter, but I'm like, wait a minute. The professor's been very suspicious from the beginning. Okay. Okay, that was not it. Alright. Otherwise, I may have to use the influence I have in this courtroom to shut it permanently. Whoops. I don't know what it is about that prosecutor exactly, but he really makes me wince in pain sometimes. I don't have a great deal of influence myself, but believe me, I can find other ways to make you keep your mouth shut as well. Alright, don't get angry. I'll think again. There must be a clue somewhere in all that evidence to the court record. Actually, now that I think about it, there might be some pieces of evidence I haven't... Oh yes, that's right. He literally told me to examine the evidence first. Okay, let's go through the evidence here. Because now we've got... Now that I know that I can flip this thing, right? Oh my god, I'm such an idiot! Oh, all I had to do literally was flip the thing. And that's why he said he wrote it on the back of his business card. But why would a waiter have a business card? Satori Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Wow, I'm a dum-dum. There we go. Oh, so dumb. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satori Hosonaga. Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satori Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. They're wielding it somehow here. Oh my gosh. You're an investigator and you were stupid enough, like, going into a courtroom with that on your business card, and you didn't think that you'd have to submit that, and you thought that we wouldn't notice? I mean, it took some time, but I eventually got to it. Okay. Alright, well now we know for sure. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay. I'm still laughing about the fact that I blamed... when I'm suspicious of someone, it's just like... I was like, what if he's pulling the strings all along? Alright. Now we know for sure.
Yes!
Well, surely that would be... Satori Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
Poppycock. What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were? Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satori Hosonaga-san's real identity is proven by this evidence.
Yes!
Plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure what we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency. That's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. You mean the front? I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have just said the front? Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of the business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Quite a mouthful. What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? Oh, this poor guy. The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power, as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was he the one who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. Oh, now he's gonna be like, I can explain myself. He's not gonna, like, admit to it. Alright, the court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... I was gonna say, couldn't he use a napkin or something? Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It is my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say, you really are a detective? Why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Oh, of course. Your salary must be terrible. I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? What is with the bleeding? I want to know. Ahem. Maybe the woman, like, stabbed him or something, or like, I don't know. Correct, Your Excellency. Or maybe he swallowed, like I said, the coin, or maybe he swallowed some evidence. Unbelievable. As I suspected. Maybe he swallowed the bullets? No, the bullet never came out of his body. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat... I was like, even if the bullet had come out of him, I don't think his first instinct would be like, let's swallow the evidence. I'm pretty sure he would probably put it somewhere else. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady who I'm guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman had been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect. So they're willing to throw, like, oh, he's just a university student. Who cares about him? We'll just make him out to be the murderer. And then this is a secret, we'll just do it in a secret trial. Nobody has to know. He's just going to be put away, and that's that. Problem solved. Well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yuma University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain, and I am fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical facilities research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. Okay, it's usually, they're usually, like puns. Okay, so Giselle Brett? Giselle Brett? I don't know. Giselle Brett? She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yuma University's medical facility. Or, is it facility or faculty? I think it's facility. I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well. My thoughts on this matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give it a ruling at this point. Oh, I was so worried the judge is going to be like, we're going to keep it under wraps. So I'm glad that, like, the other judge, you know, the judge in the regular games, you know, he's a little bit of a buffoon sometimes, but his sense of duty was always there. But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Meanwhile, Achi gives no fucks. He has no honor. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. He just wants the honor and the glory of being the one to do this, and it got taken away from him. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Ugh. Inspector Hosonaga? Yes, sir? You will locate this Giselle Bretz. Is it like Jezebel? Probably not. Giselle? I don't know if it's Giselle or I'm gonna say Giselle. And escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem? Nothing will get in my way. Unless he dies on the way. What is going on with that guy? I was gonna call him a waiter, but he's not a waiter. Court will adjourn briefly. Prosecution must call the English student, Giselle Brett, to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency! Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. Alright! We will conclude it in the next episode, this trial. Alright guys, so that will do it for this first part of my Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Let's Play. Overall, it is so good to get back into this series. I love that it's familiar, but it's new at the same time, with it going back in time, with new characters, all new characters, and just a different way of doing things, but at the same time it's very familiar, like the basic aspects of it. It just feels like coming home, and I'm really enjoying this so far. And I can't wait to conclude this trial, meet this girl, see what's going on, and continue on with this game. I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of this Let's Play, and that you will tune in next week for part 2. Also, really quick, I normally I'm going to be doing this Let's Plays on Wednesday from this point forward. I just wanted to get this out day 1, this particular part, but all future Great Ace Attorney episodes will be coming out on Wednesdays. So if you want, subscribe if you're not already, and if you want to turn on notifications so that you don't miss any episodes that come out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Until then, bye. Special thanks to my top-tier patrons: Nana, Sparky, Derek Nickel, Harry Gazif, Asborn Kennedy, and iCognito.